One.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the facilities meeting for May 4th, 2020. We, I do have committee member Albert Benningham present, also myself, Hernan Illingworth, chair of the committee. I believe we also have Joe Sokolovic, am I right? I thought I saw Joe earlier.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so
Thank
Joe Sokolovic is joining us as well. We also have Bobby Hammond. Is Bobby with us?
Yeah, I'm sitting right here with Alan Wallach. We're in the office.
All right, I can't see you guys, so that's fine. And we also have Alan Wallach as well. We do have some minutes for approval. If I can get a motion to approve the minutes of February 3rd, 2020.
Motion to approve the minutes.
All right, I will second. Any edits, any discussions on those minutes? All right, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it. The only item on the agenda, and I made it very broad on purpose so we can have a very whatever comes up as far as facilities. I know facilities is gone through a lot in the last couple months, and before I turn over the floor to our staff members, Bobby Hammond and Alan, I'd just like to really express my gratitude to the whole facilities department and all our custodians and for working extremely hard and getting our schools cleaned and you know, and just being on the front lines every single day in the school building. So I really, Bobby Hammond, if you could please relay that message to all the custodians and to all your staff. They really appreciate all the hard work they've done. And thank you to
Thank you,
guys
Hernan.
as
I
well.
will. Thank you.
All right, Bobby, the floor is yours.
Okay, so let me just start out. Good evening, everybody. I'll give you a quick run through with regards to COVID and how it affects our department currently. To date, we've spent approximately $74,000 on COVID-based materials such as hand sanitizers, masks, bleach, gloves, hand towels, spray bottles, and currently we're utilizing about 500 masks a week just for the facility staff across the district. And that currently we have about 8,000 masks that are in stock because they're in high demand. No, it's 8. We got more. And unfortunately, we did have 2 custodians test positive. And I'm happy to say that they did return to work. We had a period of time between April 7th and April 27th. We had 14-day quarantine, approximately 10 people. So the last of the 14 people came back on last Monday, the 27th.
Wow.
So moving forward, and we currently have a nurse that's been at our facility every morning going on week 3. And she's doing mandatory temperature checks, which is, I think it's a very proactive move. You can, if anybody has a fever, any symptoms, that she's inquisitive and she's required to ask. So we sent a few individuals home in the last 2 weeks, and we're just waiting to see what comes out of that. That said, it's going to be a day by day, week by week progression moving forward as we move through this time that we're in here. As far as projects, we.
Hey, Hernan.
Yes.
Alan.
Once this is over, this crisis is over,
Yeah.
and we go back to school on this, I know you're talking about budgets. Take a look at our budget, because over the last couple of years, we've had no increase to our budget at all.
Oh, I know that.
And this is going to require more cleaning, more overtime, because hopefully once the students get back in school, we can't do all the cleaning while the kids are in school.
Yeah. So on that note, I've been doing a little bit of thinking over the last week, 2 weeks, and going back to 20 years ago, and as recently as 8 when I became part of the Board of Ed, We have respectfully 39 part-timers in the district, but a lot less schools. And we had 11 back in, I don't know when it was, probably 2012. That said, as they retired, quit, or whatever reason they left, they weren't replaced, and it was through a union negotiation. My position moving forward is that it'd be a critical time now to see if we can look to get support staff in that manner as far as part-time people, because those could be floaters, depending on the size of the school, could be one or more, that can go do what the CDC put out, that we've been following the guidelines for high touch point cleaning for all contact points through the buildings, which is going to be critical because, as you know, every school in the district has one full-time custodian on days, with the exception of the largest schools in the district, all the high schools and JFK campus. And it's kind of critical when you look at that, and people's expectation is going to be, well, how are you going to clean these? Because we did that during the last week of school. We moved through the building, and it was difficult. That said, we'll just have to cross that bridge when we come to it. But that's the plan. In case it came up, I want to just share that with you. Any questions on that?
Get it. And I do want to say, because you did mention the $74,000 that you mentioned, is that what you spent over and beyond this year's budget already?
Oh yeah. Matter of fact, we had to reach out. We had to have money added to our budget.
Okay.
Not only for this,
but for other expenditures, just to get us through the end of June, just to keep day-to-day operations going.
Okay, thank you.
So,
any other board members? Albert, do you have anything to ask? Anything?
Yes, I have a question. How you doing, Bobby?
good, sir.
All right. Question: when they clean the schools, and I believe they're using is bleach, right?
It's a bleach water solution. It's like 10 parts water, 1 part bleach, and that's basically it's old school cleaning, and that's what we did the last week and the weeks to follow. And now we have other chemicals. That's a fast, easy solution that we picked up on CDC. The health department recommended it. In that mixture, it's not toxic if we do it earlier in the morning before the kids came in, and over at the end of the evening so it's not a toxic. It's basic. That's it. It's basically water.
Okay, but my question is, if how many ounces in for how many rooms, or especially we got so many doors in the school, so many bathrooms. We have to clean.
I don't know. I don't see him in that thing.
How many gallons of water, whatever?
He's listening to it.
Cool.
Oh, it shows that he is in it.
Yeah, I can't tell you. It differs for every school, and it depends on the classrooms. But strategically, it depends on the staffing in the school and how many classrooms you're assigned to, and how many hallways and bathrooms.
Let's talk about, let's say, big school, high school. We got Central High School, we got Basic, we got Bay Child, stuff like that. You don't know for how many you can use. It's only 1 gallon for whole school, or how many. And my second,
what doesn't take much. If you're using a 10-part water, so it's 10 ounces of water with 1 ounce of bleach. You look at that theory there. So yeah, it's 168 ounces into a gallon. So if you fill up a 18-ounce spray bottle labeled, you could spray a doorknob, you could spray a panic bar, you could spray a desktop, and you could basically let it sit there and air dry, or you can wipe it down. Basically we've been sitting and wiping the first couple of times because any grime. So it's basic cleaning when it comes to that.
Okay, and when you say about the 2 custodians become positive, that custodian was close to other custodians. Are they really check the other ones to be sure they're okay?
Well, it was 1 in one school and 1 in another school. So as soon as we found out the remaining custodians in either school, because we insisted for social distancing with masks and gloves, we did a little investigation when we found out that the individuals were allegedly sick. We quarantined them according to directive from the health department. So they were home. They were home for 14 days. They weren't symptomatic, and they came back. And the 2 individuals, 1 from each of the 2 schools, they stayed hospitalized and then home recovered, and they both came back to work a week apart from each other.
I understand that part, but my question is how they know the video was working when they have that, or just want to know they was close to another people when they have it, because sometimes you got the virus and you do look like you don't have it. You acted like a normal
Well,
person,
so,
like
no, I couldn't answer that question. I don't know because the individual called me about
Okay.
8:30 one night at home and expressed that they're concerned that they didn't feel well and they were in a hospital and they were going to get tested. And the same thing happened the next time. So, and then, they start calling their friends to tell them they may be sick, and you can't keep a secret around here. So, but I just keep things quiet, and there is a code of silence here, and it's not ethical to get into conversations about that and who. So, to answer your
No,
question, I don't know how they got it.
I just worry about, the person, that custodian. I hope he gets very well. I will be praying for him to not be sure he got it and then he was working with other employees. That's why I'm worried about that. That's all.
Well, in both cases, in both schools, the support staff that were there and working, within their social distancing, neither one of the schools came back with any other symptomatic individuals.
Okay, that's good.
Thank you. Thank you so
Yep.
much.
Yes.
Mr. Sokolovic, do you have anything?
Yeah. Isn't a 10-to-1 ratio a little high? I mean, a little too concentrated.
That's basically what's recommended. 10 parts water and 1 part bleach. Maybe you thought the other way around.
No. I'm just thinking. What kind of bleach are you using? Are you using an industrial or commercial? Commercial or?
It's just be commercial, residential bleach. The bleach is we can use. They said we can use over-the-counter bleach.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be a week because they got some commercials that have a higher concentration of certain things.
No. We
I-
just
I-
get the regular domestic bleach.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so basically 1 gallon is good for 10 because the ones I use on the job they like a higher ratio and a 10-to-1 will like actually hurt our lungs. Okay, are we on general questions yet, Mr. Illingsworth?
Yes, we are.
Okay, I'm wondering with the school closures and the schools being closed for so long, concerned about ventilation. A lot of our schools, we don't have air conditioning, we don't have forced air running up, ventilating the buildings, and any small leak could cause mold. Is there anything being done to like mitigate those possibilities?
I've sent out directives, and we've been out checking the schools, and every ceiling tile that had any water stain had been changed. We follow up, and the custodians report back if they'd find a leak, and any light bulbs. They've done a lot of minor that turns out to be major, work later in the year for us or during the year. They've been catching up on a lot of small detail work to that point, to ceiling tiles. Just you open windows to get fresh air where there's no HVAC system. And from what we've been schooled on as far as the COVID virus, it doesn't lay in open and live
Right.
maybe more than a few hours. So it
Right,
dies
yeah.
on contact. If it's there on a Friday afternoon, it's gone by Monday, whether you clean it or not,
Right,
to some
definitely.
degree.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I'm more concerned with the reopening and mold issues than COVID because anything that's laying around that's where nobody's at is already going to be dead.
Now we're just hoping we get a date at some point where we can get an okay to either have teachers or somebody come in and clean out student desks because that's usually done at the end of the school year, and that enables us to move furniture around to clean that. So that's something that we should hope for an answer for pretty soon.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, do you mind
Yeah.
if I just speak to that briefly?
Who's that?
Sounds like Mike.
Oh, our superintendent. Oh, nice of him to join us. Thank you, Mr. Testan.
No, I've been listening, Mr. Illingsworth. I didn't want to interrupt Mr. Hammond while he was speaking.
All right.
So we're anticipating in the next day, probably or two, most likely tomorrow on the governor's call, that schools will be canceled for the remainder of the school year. Later on in the month, we're anticipating getting some answers regarding any type of summer camps and such, but Bobby and I have spoken several times. Once we get the word that schools are closed for the remainder of the year, we're going to set up a safe way for teachers to come in and clean out their rooms. This way we can begin the summer cleaning. We've already started to deploy the trades. Obviously, we can get to things and catch up on things that would normally not be accessible during the school year. I've also talked to the facilities department to see if any parking lots can be looked at for potholes and such things. So We're amped up and ready to go. If there are summer camps during the summertime, they will be exclusively accessing outdoor areas, cafeteria, and bathrooms. They will not be utilizing classrooms. I don't foresee us being able to do any type of classroom activities, but I think we can probably safely say there might be some limited outdoor camps that can be offered through Lighthouse.
Okay, all right.
But
So
that
you do,
Thank you,
should
Mr.
be coming
Major.
tomorrow, I believe.
I'm sorry, one person at a time.
I say thank you, Mr. Stani, for the information. Sorry.
Oh, you're welcome.
So, Mr. Testani, so you anticipate that schools will definitely be closed for the remaining of the school year?
Yeah, I mean, Massachusetts has already made the call. New Jersey's made the call. New York has also extended closures to the end of the year. So I'm anticipating tomorrow the governor is going to make that call. We're going to get guidance then on what's going to happen in terms of summer programs. I'm sure later on in the month, I do have a call, as all other superintendents do this week, with the Commissioner of Education, but his call comes after the governor, and I'm assuming tomorrow the governor is going to make that decision.
Okay, great, because that's what I was really concerned about it from a facility standpoint. If we did have to open up schools, are we going, I mean, there will be strict guidelines, et cetera, and the demand that would put on the facilities would be, great. So I was really worried about that.
Yeah.
Even with PPE, will we have enough masks and gloves for all our students and staff and everybody in the school building? I was really, really concerned about that. So, good. I am pleased that, unfortunately, because of all this, but I think it's for the best interest to keep everyone safe and for the schools to be closed for the rest of the school year. Is there anything else?
Yeah, I'd like to, as the superintendent had said, we have been talking. We have, even when we just ahead of this pandemic that we're facing, we had supplied every school in the district with a 1 gallon pump of hand sanitizer in the office. And then we just recently spoke about ensuring that teachers and staff had masks, which have been shipped out already to the main offices in most of the schools already, and try to keep those masks on hand if and when any staff could come into the school, and as well as gloves, because we currently have a pretty good supply of each, but we're never going to stop buying because they go through so quick.
Right.
So we ramped up and we ordered more sanitizing solution, and we're going to put them when we need them, and they'll be there to utilize.
Perfect.
We're anticipating, Mr. Illingsworth and the rest of the board members on the call, that we're going to have hand sanitizer dispensers in main offices, in the entryways, near the cafeteria, near custodian entrances. I mean, we're going to have to prepare for that. I've already instructed Lizette Early in the nursing department to get her hands on anywhere from 75 to 100 thermometers that take a temperature on the forehead, so that we can be prepared at each building when we do decide to open up again, so we can take folks' temperature and whatever else we need to do to fulfill the guidelines that are going to be set forth for opening up schools again in the fall.
Yeah, really, that's great news. Great news. Anything from anyone else? Albert, do you have anything else?
Yes, I have a question. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a question for Mr. Bobby Hammond. How many masks the custodians they using it the week? I know sometimes they have to change it. How many masks
They've been getting deliveries for the last 3.5 weeks of up to 5 masks each. So they were one daily. They're supposed to be daily masks. As we ramped up and we had more of an ability to purchase them, we utilized what we could. So they do have 5 a week. They're delivered every week.
All right, thank you, sir.
So every day they get a new mask. Great.
Well, they have their 5 day supply.
Great.
We should be getting a donation this week from an outside organization for staff of 10,000 masks. So
Wow.
those will be distributed to security, food and nutrition, and custodians, and also whatever staff will be working in the buildings for the remainder of time.
That's great news.
Awesome. Any other questions from board members or committee members?
I have a question for Mr. Testani, please.
Go ahead, Albert.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Testani, about when you say about each nurses, are they ready? They have all the equipment, whatever they need for any staff or student, someone in the building, or we're not having them the nurses in the schools.
The nurses right now are being deployed through the health department, so they're picking up their orders and their shifts through the health department right now.
All right. Thank you, sir. That's it, Mr. Chair.
All right. Mr. Sokolovic, you have anything else?
No, thank you. I'm good.
All right. Again, Mr. Hammond and Mr. Wallach and Superintendent, I really, from me and I'm sure the rest of the committee, are really grateful, and we really appreciate everything that all of you have done, and especially our staff that's been on the front lines every single day throughout this whole thing, and making sure our buildings are safe and cleaned and being ready for whatever happens. Really, I can't express enough my gratitude to the entire facilities staff for doing this. So if you would really, again, relate this message, I would really, really appreciate it. If there's nothing else, I'd like to call for a motion to adjourn.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
All right, I'll second it. All in favor? Aye. All right, thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you next month.
Well, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, everyone. God
Right.
bless you all.
Good night.
Good night.
Okay, Nick, it looks like we're all set, so I'm out.